So a couple Kemp brothers walk into a bar. We look at each other and I say, "Is that Shooter McGavin?"
Is that Paul Rudd?
So we'll be talking about this and more of some of our adventures here on the Welcome Distraction with the Kemp Brothers.
This is the Welcome Distraction Podcast with the Kemp Brothers. Their immature stories, thoughts, and opinions are their own and should be taken with the same level of seriousness as a drunk uncle's late-night conspiracy theory. They are not responsible for any brain cells lost, friendships ruined, or questionable life choices made under their influence. Now buckle up, buttercups.
So today we're going to be diving into some of the fun trips, some of the adventures that we've been on. We'll also be talking about some of the not so fun trips, some of the trips that we kind of like to forget about. But we'll also be diving into a little bit of some of the places we like to go back to, and places we would recommend, but also some places that are on our bucket list, some places that we'd like to go to in the not so distant future, and maybe some that are a little bit further on down the road. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Christopher, let's turn over to you.
Yeah, talking about trips on our bucket list or putting back on our bucket list because it was that good. So we were fortunate enough to go to the Masters in 2013. Right? We went with our dad. It was a good trip. Yeah, we literally made our rounds. We were there for the practice round, the par 3 contest. Didn't know how lucky we were. We truly did not have an appreciation of what it meant to be selected. I think it was our first go in the lottery.
Yeah.
Our dad was selected.
We should do this every year because we always win.
Yeah, because the Masters is cool. We'll go every year. Easy. 1 out of 4. Let's go. So fast forward 12 years later, we were fortunate enough. Nicholas was selected again, and we kind of have a pact. If any of us get selected, we'll all go. Our dad, getting up in age, the course is kind of hilly. I was unable to go as well. So there we were. We're back at the Masters. Rory was trying to get his career Grand Slam. Nicholas found out in July. I booked us the room arrangements really quick, very quick. Turned out it was a loft above a normal house. We show up to this place, early April. It was the second weekend in April. The place had been ravaged by a hurricane. So what it was when we booked it maybe in July, it no longer resembled the pictures we saw. So we were pretty worried. It was a little sketch looking. However, the trip turned out amazing. We had beautiful weather. We did not feel scared for our lives where we're at. A little bit. We were able to go see the par 3 contest and truly appreciate how lucky we were to be there 12 years later. Thinking at one point, are we ever going to get to go back? And I know a lot of folks are still wanting to go for the first time. And if you do get the chance, absolutely go. I've heard time and time again, it always exceeds expectations when people are asked what they thought.
Highly recommend.
Right. So we plan on going next year.
Yeah.
We did not go this year. And Rory's back to back. Maybe we'll get to see him be the first ever repeat winner at the Masters. That's what we'd like to do again, for sure.
You don't have to like golf. And I think just being there and the surroundings, the environment, the grounds, it's just amazing. Just the scenery, the swag's pretty cool. And the people watching is pretty awesome, too, because you never know who you're going to run into. We saw all kinds of celebrities just walking around.
Got to get to know him.
Quite the
Got to get to know him.
I think for me, the most surrealist thing, especially today's day and age where everyone's heads down on their phone, you're not allowed to bring phones. And so just to see
no phones,
tens of thousands of people, probably like 40, 50,000 people that are there, nobody's on their phones. Everybody's like
living in the moment
with one another, talking to each other. It's awesome.
Yeah,
remember
the
bank of phones? Remember the bank of phones too?
Yeah.
So it's just a regular landline phone, and there's just a wall of them outside, and everybody has all these phone numbers written down because nobody remembers phone numbers anymore. So, but you pick it up. There was no charge to it, and people just had a list of phone numbers they were calling because when you called, the call ID said the Masters calling. So people were like, oh my God, you see, oh man, I'm at the Masters. And then they hang up and call the next person. It was quite the experience. Grown men.
Yeah.
A fun trip that I always like to tell people about. It was about 12 years ago, 2014, I think it was. Zach Braff was coming up with a movie that he wanted to have
the guy from
complete
Scrubs
control over. So Zach Braff, the guy from Scrubs, the white guy, he also a director. And when you direct a movie, if you can't fund enough of it, then you've got to give over control to the production company. And he didn't want to give them over the control to have like the final say in how the movie like ended. And so he went to crowdsourcing. So if you've ever heard of Kickstarter, I found out about it on Reddit and learned that he was trying to earn enough money to be able to keep the rights. And so with Kickstarter, depending on whatever it is, if you donate a certain amount, then you get a kickback of a certain amount. And
Whoa.
so the highest donation level that he offered was if you donated, I think it was $1,000,
Yeah.
then you would get to come to
Oh,
the red
that's
carpet
what you're gonna get.
premiere. You would get to come to the red carpet premiere of the movie with the cast and then get to go to an after party with the cast afterwards. And so I was like, you know what? They're doing it in New York City. I'd never been in New York City at the time. So talked to the wife and she was like, you know what? Let's do it. So
Let's do it.
we donated the money. We got the invite. You still got to
The
pay for your
perks.
travel and all that hotel. We went up there, got to hang out with Zach Braff, Donald Faison, who's the black guy from Scrubs.
Whoa, hey.
Josh Gad, who was the voice of Olaf years later in Frozen, and Vanessa Green, I guess from Twilight. I don't really know her well, but Kate Hudson was there.
That's right.
Mandy Patinkin, the guy from
Princess Bride?
Princess Bride.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to.
Hello. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
He was there.
Randy.
So it was just really cool. And so it was our first time in New York City, so it was a great excuse to go, and we made the most of it. And so it was always a memory that'll and that actually led to another adventure that I think you were going to talk about, Brett.
Yeah, so that crowdsourcing stuff seemed pretty cool. And we came upon another opportunity where me and Nicholas found out about that Super Troopers. Any red-blooded American man should know what Super Troopers is. And they decided to finally make a sequel. Hilarious movie. Is mimicked and quoted so many times. And the production group Broken Lizard, and with the guys on that team, they decided they're going to make a Super Troopers 2, and they wanted to try to go for that crowdsourcing way as well. And they used a different one. It was Indiegogo, I think, was the one that they used. And we started looking into that, and we found that, hey, for this amount of money, you get this perk. And it was the same thing where you get to go to the screening with the cast, do a Q&A afterwards, after you watch the screening, do the whole red carpet thing. And then after that, you get to go to an after party with the cast, So it was different tiers. There was levels to this game. And we went with the top tier one. It wasn't too crazy. Didn't break the bank by any means. And of course you have to, get to New York. So we were in Florida at the time. And we went up there. Christopher couldn't make it for that one, for that adventure. So it was just me and Nicholas. And we went, and man, it couldn't have worked out better, because not only did we get that adventure, we first had a day to kill. We flew in that morning, early flight. We got there and absolutely hate the Yankees. New York Yankees, but it's still Yankee Stadium. It's the new Yankee Stadium. Had never been there before. I wanted to see Yankee Stadium. So I wanted to see Yankee Stadium. Nicholas wanted to go to an Irish pub afterwards. So we decided, okay, we'll go see Yankee Stadium. We'll check out a game. And we did. We went, we partook. And then afterwards, we decided we want to go to about one of the realest Irish pubs you could find in New York. So we were staying right outside Hell's Kitchen area.
I think we were in Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, you were.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, you're right.
Which we didn't really know about it at the time.
Staying
We were
in
just
a
like,
small
oh,
little
this is a cheap
Airbnb where, real estate is such a premium there in New York. It was like a crevice crack you walk through and here's 2 bedrooms.
To get
a
sideways
closet.
to get through the hallway.
Yep. And so we went there, but after the game, we went and we found an Irish pub and we went in there. I think we had a beer and it was cool. It was a little spacious, but it was like, it's all right. Let's see if there's one, closer. Let's head back towards where we're staying. So we walked back at like a block or two, and we got closer to where we were staying, and we saw another little Irish pub, and we walked in there. And as soon as we walked in there, it was like there was nobody in there but the bartender and a few other people. It was small, it was just the bar, and it was narrow. And then back towards the back was some booths right there, and then a couple bathrooms, and it was small. I mean, you could have thrown a football easily front to back, easy. And so we walked in there, and as soon as we walk in there, Nicholas glances over to me, and then he's like, "Is that Shooter McGavin?" And then he's doing that. I'm looking behind him, and then as I'm doing that, Guy scoots by me, and I was like, "That's fucking Paul Rudd." And I was like, me and Nicholas was like looking at each other like we're in the Twilight Zone,
Where
And we
are
didn't want to be
we?
those guys that are like, "Oh my god, these are celebrities." These guys are just trying to hang out, But that was just the tip of the iceberg for who was there. There was a who's who of guys just hanging out. They were just playing poker in this back booth. They just wanted to hang out, meet up, and play some cards. And John Hamm is sitting there serving drinks from behind the bar. He's right there with Shooter McGavin. The bar owner is right there. This just looked like it was a thing, where they just meet up.
Right.
So these guys are serving us drinks and then just hanging out, talking it up. And then you start to glance over. Michael Cera is sitting over there in the booth dealing out cards, And as you start to look around, you're like, there's Boyle from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, dude from Superbad.
Yeah,
You guys on MySpace?
you guys on
MySpace?
MySpace?
Yeah. So that was Jolo Trulio. And then turned around, and then Dylan Baker, one of the old guys from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. First baby came out sideways. She didn't even scream or nothing. You guys, the people train runs out of Stubbsville.
Her first baby come out sideways. She didn't scream or nothing.
That guy. So he's back there. He's a character actor. So he's been in a lot of stuff. Richard Kind is in there. He's got this unforgettable voice. He was in the Bugs Life movie. He played one of the henchmen, Kevin Spacey's main bug villain guy. He played the cut up, mess up guy.
Right.
And then Bobby Cannavale, he was in there too. And he's been in a lot of things. He played the stepdad in Ant-Man and some of the Avengers stuff. But he was in Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. He was the villain in that. And he's been in a lot of things, a lot of different things stuff. He was even in the latest season of Only Murders in the Building. Yeah, and then who else was in there? I think that was it that I can remember. But every time there were so many people in there that they pop up on TV, I'm like, hey, they were in the bar too. I know, Dad. I know. I'm like, you don't understand. They were all in the bar at the same time.
I think we need to go back to this bar. Can you find it again? Let's
Probably
go.
not.
Hell's Kitchen.
It was pretty amazing though, and that was just day one. We had this whole other experience to look forward to the next night. And how did
Look up
that
your
go?
Airbnb, order history, where you stayed, get the address, and let's go.
Oh, yeah.
So the next night we head over to Super Troopers 2 premiere, and they did it all out. You had red carpet, and we walked the carpet. We're in a nice blazers and to the movie and
The paparazzi picture type thing.
enjoyed the movie. Who else showed up? Oh, I always think about the one I went to. James Franco showed up to ours when we were at the movie with
Shit, I don't think I knew that.
17-year-old girl on his arm. But we enjoyed the movie, and then we followed the instructions, whatever, over to where the premiere was, and they, they're pretty tight security, and only letting you in if you had the pass. And so we get in, and if you've never seen Super Troopers, you gotta watch it. Great movie. Just like Brett said, every red-blooded American should see that movie. It's hilarious. But some of the names you might not recognize, but Chandrasekhar, Kevin Heffernan, he's been in a lot more than just the Broken Lizard movies.
Farva.
Steve Lemmy, Eric Stolhansky, Paul Soder, Brian Cox. A lot of people are familiar with him. But then, and so while we're there, we're hanging out, and they're just as laid back as could be. They're waiting for people to approach them, and they're not just like, "Hey, how you doing?" and then moving on to the next person. They're like taking their time to try to get to know everyone. I know, I think it was Eric Stolhansky, but you had met him previously.
Yeah,
at an Air Force function, right?
Yeah, he was doing a function, and yeah, he was just so engaging and talking my ear off.
Yeah, I mean, we sat there and talked to him for a good 15 minutes, but we had at least 2-3 minute conversations with the rest of them. And then I remember, I think when you were talking to Jay, Tim Wakefield comes walking in behind him. So anyone that's a baseball fan knows the great Tim Wakefield, World Series champions with the Red Sox. Yeah, just casually walks in. He's there to meet everybody too. He's a fanboy just like we were, that night. So
we'll load up some pictures. We got him.
Yeah, I mean, awesome trip.
Needless to say, I regretted not going on this trip. Every time they tell the story, it's an awesome story.
I don't remember why you weren't there.
Friends about their story.
You remember?
It was that good of a trip.
I think you just had competing priorities or something.
Yeah, it was something I couldn't commit to. And by the time I was available, it was too late. Yeah. I remember you guys saying, it's not too late. But I was like, no.
But if I had known, shit would have changed. Who knows? We might have stayed longer at the game, gone zigged when we should have zagged and not ended up in that bar. So.
Who knows?
True.
We need to go back.
But we've each had some good memorable trips to New York. I think you had a trip to New York that you wouldn't mind forgetting about.
Yeah, so this was an experience that's on the opposite end of the spectrum. We took a family vacation there a few years back, and we did the tourist thing. We checked out all the stuff, did the visits, spent the money, blah, 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 Times Square. Cool. So that's the fun, boring part. But trying to get out of there turned into a nightmare. We got to the airport on time and we got on our plane. We got on the runway, the taxiway, and then we sat for 1, 2, 3 hours, 7 hours. We sat in this plane. And they were running one engine. It was 90 plus degrees. It was June, and they were trying to conserve energy so that they didn't burn off the fuel. So doing that, they only had one of the APU engines running, so the air conditioning was limited because it was, hey, we're about to take off, we're about to take off. And so I was literally sweating. And there were some smelly people on this damn plane.
It's
Like, it was smelly when it
insane.
started. I remember, not everybody can appreciate a bar of soap the way I do. These people were not partaking in the cleanliness. But you just imagine that being in this tin can for 7 hours, and then you start smelling and stinking even worse.
Blech.
And then what happened? We had to go back because of crew restrictions and rest guidelines. They had no choice. They had to go back and bring in a new crew. So we had to deplane, get on another plane. We got out of there that night, but our connecting flight was in Minnesota. So Minneapolis, we flew through there. And by the time we got there, we were screwed. So it was way late, middle of the night, and it was everybody for themselves. And we booked a new flight out early in the morning. There was no sense in trying to find a hotel or anything. You have to come back, worry about your bags, security, all that stuff. And my wife, somehow, some way, she just combed this airport and found these rooms that had people sleeping all in there, just spread out. But she found little mats and everything that you could use. And she came back with a push cart and everything. And we were just kind of living, unhoused, as they say these days, around the seats. I remember waking up at like 5:30 in the morning, keeping the girls close and everything. And people were showing up for their flights at this gate that we were at, because we tried to find like the darkest corner we could to keep the lights from shining out of our face. And we had these little like airplane blankets and makeshift pillow type stuff, and we were able to maybe get an hour or two of sleep, but we eventually had to get up. So we spent the night in the airport, and yeah, there's far worse situations out there, but it was miserable. I mean, that's not how you want to end a trip. You already have to say goodbye to this fun family trip that you're on, and that's how you end it. So, and then you're trying to complain and get what you can for vouchers, and it was a nightmare, but we made it home, and we didn't kill each other, but it was close.
Nice.
I've never had to sleep over in an airport. I don't know how I would handle it, and I don't know how you handled sitting on a plane for 7 hours on the
I-
tarmac. I'd have been contemplating like being that guy that like forces the plane to have to go back to the gate because it's like
Yeah.
getting out of control.
Well, yeah. I mean, there was
Jeez.
some unruly passengers, if you will, and who wouldn't be pissed off when you start sitting on a plane for 7 hours?
It's
That's
crazy.
Fly
Can't believe they're
anywhere.
allowed to do
You
that
can
to
fly
people.
from like New York to Hawaii in 7 hours. Ridiculous.
Christopher, you had an experience down in Tampa, I think.
Yeah, so there we were. We were going to Tampa to Cool Today Park, where the Braves spring train now. I believe it's in Northport. We had gotten an Airbnb. Again, another neighborhood that was recently kind of gone through some storms, hurricanes, if you will. I think this one wasn't so much wind as it was water. So the Airbnb that we had reserved probably about a month in advance. This wasn't a well planned out plan, but the pictures looked good. Once again, we got there. It was a ranch style house. We get in there, we start looking around and getting a little bit settled. And first thing we do is we start looking in the corners, and we're seeing a little bit of dead spiders.
Waiting for you to say, we saw some blinking red lights and cameras.
Yeah,
We
I'm
just
about to
waved,
swim here. Waved, turn around, showed my butt. But anyway, so we saw some
You would've
dead
gone.
bugs. We're in Florida. It's tropical. You're going to see some things. We got it. Kids are with us. Our three of the kids, three of our daughters. My son wasn't with me, so they get settled. We got to go run to Walmart, get some groceries. It's probably about 6 o'clock, and it's getting a little bit dusk. It's coming down, right? And we run out. We come back. Now, again, ranch style house. We've seen some foot traffic in front of the house, some people that probably looked a little displaced, and then we saw some people on bikes going by, and like, are they checking out our stuff? You know, what we got?
Yeah,
And
they
then
are.
we pull up to the house and we see the bathroom, and the front bathroom is located at the front of the house with a window in the shower. Now it's blurred out. However, it's no longer really blurred as much as we thought it was going to be blurred. And one of our daughters is clearly in the shower bathing.
This is the
So
older,
yeah,
the older daughter.
older daughter, you know, and we
Above 18 is what we're saying.
it was no, it was blurry, but however, it was very you could
Discernible?
tell what was happening. So now we're putting this together. We're like, that's why people are walking by. That's what they're waiting for the show. You're like, oh my god! Immediately
Turn
tell
on the
her,
red light.
bang on the window or something, get out of the shower, and then we go and test it out. Like I get in there, take my shirt off, and like, what can you tell? They're like, hell yeah, we can tell you're
Are there
standing with no
are there
shirt.
people
Like,
watching?
oh my god, this
Put
is
your dick
ridiculous.
away.
Yeah.
How come nobody comes around when I get in the shower?
Can you see this?
So
Helicopter. I see
immediately we
what
try
you're doing.
contacting the owner. We tell them that, hey, this is unacceptable completely. Like, how long has it been like this? What? And they're like, we've rented this place out like 30 times. Nobody's complaining. I'm
You
like,
want to see the
yeah,
footage?
yeah.
30 times. Nobody's
It
been
was a
unhappy, especially the
nightmare.
neighbor.
It was something
The,
that,
the owner standing outside looking through the window with the cell phone.
yeah. And
Yeah,
you
go
would
ahead.
never
Stop using
know.
hot water.
How many people have somebody checking the front out in the yard saying, hey, yeah, it looks good from out here. You're fine. Go ahead. Nobody's doing that. So how many times did other people come and go and shower? Because it
Yeah.
wasn't the main bedroom. Yeah, it probably was majority kids. We got a hold of the owner and they pushed back. They're like, it's well within regs. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. What kind of standard do you think you're upholding? This is unacceptable. We are definitely putting on a show for the neighborhood. And then we start digging in.
More
and
than you know.
There's spiders all over the house. They're creeping and they're crawling and everything. We're like, nope, we're out here. And so we had to find another place to stay that night. Packed it all up. I didn't care what it took to get the hell out of there, but that place was I felt like Dateline should have been there and somebody jumping out, gotcha. It was
Chris Hansen.
yeah, freeze, I'm a cop.
You catch a
But
predator.
yeah, so we ended up, it was a little bit of a battle. About 2 weeks later, we finally got our money back from those SOBs, but
They made
that
it
was
back in
not
ticket
a fun
sales.
trip until we got to the ballpark and everything was good. Yeah,
So
yeah.
speaking of Airbnbs, you and I had another experience with an Airbnb
Yeah.
with our families in Savannah.
Oh, Savannah.
The overall trip wasn't bad. Trip was good.
Mhm.
We had a good time.
Savannah.
Location of the house was really nice. It's right there, not far from the
Yeah,
They do like ghost stories shit.
they do a lot of
They
ghost
do a lot of
tours
that.
and walks and things.
We did
Trolleys.
one of those while we were there.
Rio 7 in the morning.
But
they do
yeah,
it.
the Airbnb was very time period correct.
And so it was big enough for both our families to fit mostly comfortably. But the one thing that stands out when we talk about this Airbnb is it had a gas stove, which neither one of us has a gas stove, so we're not used to having one, but we've
I
used one
have
before.
one.
We know how to operate them. And so after we had gotten there and got situated, I think we were kind of hanging out in the kitchen. I think it might have been me the first time. I was kind of leaning against the stove.
It's an older gas stove.
And I think I may have hit the knob, not knowing it until somebody was like, "You know something?" And quickly we were like, "Shit,
Sorry, farted.
cut off." Went and checked it and like, "Yep, somebody hit the knob, probably me."
That's all it took to lean up against it and turn the knob slightly. The
Yeah.
gas start flowing.
So got it cut off. So fast forward to might have been the next day or it might have been like later that night. We went out to go eat somewhere, go walk around and sightsee, and we come back to the house and we'd been gone for probably 3 or 4 hours.
Right.
And we open the door, and as soon as you open the door, it
Dead
just
dog.
hit you like a ton
Just
of
kidding.
bricks.
There's no animals harmed in it.
Oh my god! I'm pretty sure somebody hit the stove again, and the gas is running. And so either I don't remember who did it, but one of us held our breath, ran in there because the kitchen wasn't far from the door.
Yeah.
And confirmed that yes, somebody had hit the knob, turned the gas off, and then came running back out. Do you remember? Was it you or me?
Lit a cigarette.
I think it was you. Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, we stopped the source, but now how long do we wait for
Yeah.
this to air out? It's like 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
We're in Savannah. We've got all of our kids sitting out on the sidewalk.
Based on
People
the
are
curb.
walking by. I'm like, man, we can't just sit out here forever. And so we start,
Yeah, we're
conversing, like,
Googling. We're trying
"All
to
right, how do
figure
we
out
air out
how
this,
long is
this
it safe before we go back in.
Yeah. So we're like, we need to air it out. And we're looking up from the outside because it's 2-story. Like, okay, we think we can get those windows open if we hold our breaths. we can get in there. But what happens if we run out of air and the gas is too thick? Like we could expire in here. And so we're like, well, it's not too big of an Airbnb. I think we can do it. So we both went in and we were able to get the windows open, and we
It
wound up
was an
waiting.
interesting layout, to say the least, because it was, I believe that house had to be in the late 1800s or early 1900s first erected.
Take the secret passageway, go upstairs. I'm over
Yeah.
there.
So the second story, you went up a weird kind of angled stairs, and you went up there, and to get to the windows, you had to go down a slight hallway for both kind of the openings where the windows were at. And then on the side of the house, on the second level, there was a door right there at the,
Converts the
in the
exit
middle of the
Kemp.
triangle of the end of the house. And so we're looking on the outside of the house, and you see these very ominous stairs that just kind of go up there. And it's no longer part of the Airbnb that we have access to. But I think we had to move some bricks. And Nicholas, you had a screen door in your bedroom.
What the
So
hell?
It's a
we
screen door.
went to open that, and there was stuff all kind of blocking it. So we had to go into the backyard and get up the stairs and then open this side door up top. It was really creepy because we didn't have any lights. We had our phones.
Yeah,
So
didn't want to use
we
the
finally
lighter.
got some airflow in there.
It's sketchy. And meanwhile you're in Savannah, you're not too familiar with surroundings. You're just familiar with, they do a lot of ghost trips around here. It's dark and it's old, it's just all old houses. And again, like, we're trying to expedite clearing this place out so we can get our family inside safe and
Yeah, and
secure
it's chilly
from the
because it's
outside.
December, late December, just before New Year's.
So meanwhile we're on our phones and we're trying to Google, like, how long do you have to wait to allow the gas to dissipate?
So
And
what we
then
did
it's
is
like,
we put the smallest child in there for a while to see if
Least
they would
favorite.
die.
Go in there.
Like a bird in a cage, you see?
Yeah, like in the mine
you
shop.
tie a rope around their leg and have them go like 15 feet in, and if they fall asleep, then we just pull them back out.
Send in
Wake up,
Wake up.
too
You're
long.
on the job.
We're like, hey, it's not bedtime yet.
But
Oh,
an
yeah.
interesting fun fact, the heater on that did have a pilot light that was lit. So it's a decent chance that gas could have exploded.
Boom. But we lived.
Upload house exploding video in neighborhood here.
Boom.
Okay, so who wants to talk about their bucket list trip or vacation or dream adventure that they want to go on, either in the not too distant future or maybe it's a little bit down the road?
I wish I could go tomorrow. Yeah, so I don't have it all planned out, but I know I want to go to Europe. I want to go to Europe and I want to go to Australia. Australia is probably my number one. I want to go over there. I just want to check out all the things. I don't want to be a dumb tourist, but I do want to see all the stuff, As we're starting to get into summer months here, they're getting into winter, so let's go snowboarding out there. But I would love to go down under, go over to Australia.
So I got hang.
Could be part of that. But Europe, probably somewhere in Germany, those countries that you can just visit multiple countries in a day. France would be awesome. I've been doing Duolingo in my French. I'm getting ready. That's a bucket list-ish, but I don't have the itinerary all picked up. I would love to do that. But we need the world to calm down so I can feel comfortable going over there because it's shit going on. Yeah.
Yep. My bucket list would be pretty similar, but I want to go to Europe. I'd like to go to Germany. I'd like to go to Oktoberfest in October, and, being in the Air Force, having gone through Europe several times, I never got to leave the terminals. And landed in these countries, Ireland, tons of places. Never left Germany, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, all those places. Never left the airport. Didn't have a lucky breakdown to go out and go to a pub, anything of that nature. But yeah, I want to go to Germany. I want to do a 6-country beer run, so to speak. Just hit all those places, Amsterdam, have fun. Like Brett said, I don't want to be a tourist, but I got to do it a little bit.
Yeah, it'd be awesome to go with somebody that's been there and done that and says, avoid this, don't do that, those kind of things. So.
Yeah. I'd like to see the Eiffel Tower and stuff like that. But that'd be my bucket list. Run around over there for a little bit, see what it's all about.
Australia would be cool. Europe, I think I've gotten enough to say it quenched my thirst a little bit. I'd love to go back. I'd love to go back to Germany. I would love to go to France and see the Eiffel Tower. I think my ultimate bucket list of what I would like to do is I'd like to go to Scotland and go to St. Andrews and play the
Cool.
old course.
Yeah.
Number 2.
That'd be nice.
That'd be amazing. So many legends have played there in the famous Open tournament.
On the links,
and that course is just so well known. I think that's my ultimate.
You'd have to kick
bucket
me
list.
off for sucking so bad and taking so long. So you're still in the first hole.
I'm in the bunker.
I'm
The
out
street
of-
bunker.
Not a
Pothole bunker.
That'd be awesome.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we should figure it out. Start planning it. Let's do it tomorrow.
All right, let's go. What are our jobs?
do it live.
Everybody go.
All right. Well, we want to hear from you. We want to hear what your bucket list trip is. Where is it that you want to go, or where is it that you've been that you would highly recommend? We make it a point to add to our bucket list. So we want to hear from you. Hit us up. Whether it's YouTube or Facebook. Reels. We're on all the socials. We're on everything.
Distraction@gmail.com.
Yeah. Hit us up. We want to hear from you. Well, thanks for joining us today on the Welcome Distraction with the Kemp Brothers. I hope you enjoyed the show. Hopefully this was a little getaway for you. You see what I did there?
Hey,
For the Welcome Distraction, I'm Nick.
I'm Brett.
And I'm Chris.
I'll talk to you later.
Peace. What do they do?